the new norm. I'm Dr. Lou Graham. This will be episode number 4 with Gary Kadi, all brought to you by Midway Dental and Catapult Education. So episode 4 is all about restarting your team, the essential team. Gary Kadi, let's go with it, and I'll ask you the questions. Take it away.
Brother, good to see you again, hear you again, my good man. Man, you get younger each time I talk to you. You're in your 30s now, I think. You were good to go.
Yeah, keep going, bro.
Listen, and as you know, as you heard in my first session, I celebrated 12 years in our first session, which was weeks ago. Man, time flies. I'm wearing the same shirt. So, you know, we are quarantined. I can't get to the dry cleaner, so I'm wearing the same shirt, Lou. You know, it's just what it is.
No whiff test. Go. Yep.
All right, good. Here's what I want to say about this. I never would have taken a drop of alcohol if people just did what I wanted them to do, Lou, when I wanted them to do it, how I wanted to do it, in the measures that I wanted them to do it in.
Yeah.
If people just did what I want them to do. You know, we're in the people business and we happen to deliver dentistry. And we're talking about restarting here. We're talking about, you know, getting back on the court. And we're really talking about first, you know, this is about making more than a living. This is about making a life for dentists. I like to say that because, you know, dentists are highly stressed, high anxiety, you know, and it's largely because they're in a position that they don't know they're in, which is, you know, they went to dental school. And, you know, if they missed a half hour on management, leadership, conflict resolution, you know, all those, you know, banker, CPA, all that stuff, right? It's overwhelming. And then they have to do dentistry on top of it. And so one of the things I found is if we can remove all those things for the dentist, and I have this motto, just do dentistry, like the Nike, just do dentistry. We want to take away all the other things, automate everything that needs to be automated. And there's five pillars, and I'm just going to be able to do one because it's our last session together. But first is purpose. I want to make sure you have context here because it's like an engine. There's the elements that make the car run. I'm going to give you 5, and then we're going to focus in on just one today, the biggest one that's going to make the biggest difference. Purpose. So purpose is number 1. You want to move from a standard practice to a complete health practice. Whole body health is where the new patient's going to be. The next P is people. That's the one we're going to talk about today. Having the right people in the right places, doing the right things. Third is process. There's only 3 processes, Lou, that a practice needs to get into in the restart. And by the way, these are the 5 pillars of the restart. And I call it my care system, Lou. CA this is how I remember things because I'm older, a lot older than you by 20, 30 years now. Yeah, I'm staying with that theme. I like it. I like this. Case acceptance, CA. R is retention. E is the experience and acquisition of new patients. Why are only 3 systems? Because case acceptance, like you said in the last episode, only 22% of treatment diagnosis started within the first year. Extremely poor. The next thing is retention. Only 25%, Lou, come back twice through hygiene. That is unacceptable.
Gonna make that a note. Good. Keep going.
And we know through our partners at Dental Intel, 10 million treatment plans, only 8% are diagnosed with perio, and only 4% get that accepted. Extreme. And for those people who thinks there's no work to do, you might want to look at these stats. And then last is in 2017, there was more retail closures that when there was at the Great Recession in 2008. If the practice didn't reinvent, if they were still doing I call it Widget Factory, where you're selling widgets, you're not going to attract the millennial team member because they want a meaningful purpose business to work inside of. And you want to move to an experience. When you sell an experience, you're not selling dentistry. That's why we want to make sure that it's how people feel, how the flow was, were they honored, were they educated, just like the philosophy of Midway. That's why I love working with you and them, because their job is to educate the dental team, the dentist. That's why you guys partnered together, and that's why I'm honored to be here, because the same philosophy is true for the dental practice. And then
so wait a second.
Go ahead.
Wait a second. Okay, finish your last one, then I'll ask you a question. Go.
The last P in my OPP 5 Ps is platforms and profit. The last 2. and I just went through in our last session, solvency, very fast, 15 minutes on how to pay yourself first. And then platforms. We want to completely automate, or we don't want to. Since 2013, we've been training people using their smartphones because they hate to role play, uploading it, and we give them feedback. Here's what we found. 8 times, Lou, that team member's practicing how to handle a broken and canceled appointment, how to handle when the patient says, I don't want, they can't afford this. So we removed all the things that people don't want to do. Here's the principle underneath all of my work.
Okay.
He convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. She convinced against.
Say it again. Say it again.
She convinced
Yeah.
against her will is of the same opinion still.
Yes. Okay.
This is why we don't fly. This is why we did distance education with dental practices. I used to fly and everybody would say yes. They weren't convinced in their heart. They said yes, meant no, and nothing got implemented. When you get to the
Right.
heart of the matter of the team, when you let them know. So we're going to talk about bringing the team back. You want to create.
Okay, do it.
You want to create a vision of what your business is going to stand for. So an example, on a good day we save a smile, and on a great day we save a life. We are a stand for the people of OKC for health, wellness, and safety. See, if you don't make a wider context, then you're not going to have a cone beam as a standard of care. We bring in whole body health. You want to be where the puck's going to be, and where the puck's going to be is that consumer that believes health is greater than disease. That's one of our hashtags. Health is greater than disease. When you're a stand for that, they come to the dental office twice a year. They're not going to their medical doctor. And when you add value through education about, swishing the mouth with hydrogen peroxide. We have hydrogen peroxide that we can put on your gums that manage your bacteria loads, that handle the comorbidities of like diabetes and stroke and heart attack. And we have all the science. I have this whole thing built, this patient education system of complete health, where you read the medical history form, you tie it to dentistry. We have oral systemic health cards that you give to the patient that has the science-backed education, that has the correlation. People are now, their intention and attention to put attention on health is like, that's all they hear about. Now, if you turn your practice into a healthcare practice, not a dental transactional drill, fill, and bill mill, now all of a sudden you have a whole world. But you have to let your team know. So there's a 5-step process of bringing your team back. I'm going to give that to you right now. You ready, Lou?
Go.
It's called a line in the sand process. Step number 1, you get on your Zoom. Now do you see, going back to episodes in the back where the 90-30-1-1 and having a Zoom call with your team every week is vital, right?
Yeah.
Now you're bringing this to them. Now you have the channel of communication set. Now here's what you bring down the channel. It's a 5-step line in the sand conversation. Team, I want to acknowledge you, step number 1. Number 2 is, I want you to know that we're not coming back to the same practice. We're not coming back to the same team. I'm not the same dentist, and we're not going to have the same patients. I'm taking a new level of responsibility on on leading you forward. I am number 3. We are going to be implementing, we're going to go from a drill, fill, and PPO mill to a complete health practice. This is where the patient needs to be. We're going to be focusing in on safety, and then we're going to be focusing on total body health for the patient. I'm going to give you training. I'm going to give you support. I'm going to give you what you need. I just want you to know that I know you didn't sign up for this, because you might be thinking that you're coming back to what we left, and it's not so. First, I want to let you know what we're doing for safety. Then I want to let you know what we're doing for patients. Then I want to let you know how we're going to be educating patients in this model. And you give them some details. Then you say, next step is, I'm asking you to join me. This is the turning point. What got us here,
Right.
What got us here isn't going to get what's going to get us where we're going. I'm asking you to join me. I know you didn't sign up for this. Who's on the bus? Are you on the bus? Are you on the bus? Are you on the new bus? Are you on the bus? Now, some people are going to say yes and me no. And then you say, please come to me individually by 5 p.m. today if you have any questions or doubts about that. There's going to be a new norm. There's going to be new systems. You're going to be willing, because there's only the difference between a willing team member and an unwilling team member. And that's it. And then the last thing is what do you need from me to be successful? And the doctor is just taking down and noting everything and say, look, I'm going to go to the people that I'm sourced in. I'm a part of a community of doctors that help me and advisors that help me, because I'm not going to do this alone, because I don't know what to do. So I've decided that I was always afraid to ask for help, but now I know asking for help is a strength. I'm asking you to do that for me. I did not have to do, and be, I always like saying being self-deprecating. Like, I did not provide you the systems, the process, the training. I know I haven't done a good job at leading you, and now I'm taking that responsibility on, because I know in the face of adversity and crisis, leadership is what makes the difference, and I'm going to be your leader. I'm going to fail. I'm not going to do things right. I'm going to ask for compassion and partnership. I'm going to do my best, but I'm going to let you know I'm going to start stepping up to the plate. What do you need from me? So I want to just unpack this a little bit here, because this is key to the future of your practice. If you go back with unwilling people and defiant people, who Debbie Downers and Brian Bummers, you're going to lose before you step on the court. It's sort of like, you're a Chicago guy. It's like the Bears, right? Like, they get on the court. They don't have the right players. They're disorganized. They never win. You know what I mean, Lou?
Too well.
It's like the Cubs and the Sox. It's like the same stuff. Being a Yankee fan, it's like we just step on the field to play. We're organized. You can't have a beard. We play for the championship every year, and when baseball's back, just get ready.
So for the world that's not a Yankee fan, this will be your last episode. Just saying. Okay.
I want to make sure you're with me on this, and this 5-step process of line in the sand. Did you get it? What did you take away from it, Lou?
So not only do I agree with you, I go wholeheartedly, a bad employee is like cancer in the practice, and I couldn't agree more. I also will say, Gary, it's amazing of our episodes thus far in the new norm, so many of the presenters really agree with you in their own different right, where we think if PPEs are not going to be paid by insurance companies, you're going to have to move away from insurance. Why this is the exact time, and this is what you said. This pathway of leading your new why, so to speak, this new pathway is why you just have to eliminate PPO patients. And I think as you eliminate PPO patients, it's a timer, sorry. As you eliminate PPO patients, Gary, I think, again, that you're going to go, instead of drilling and filling, you're going to go into treating what you want to be treating and moving your team in that right direction. And I think right now, it's kind of like this horrible pandemic gives a dentist a time to pause and the team to pause and go, are we going to move forward together? I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah, Lou, and here's the deal. You're saying a few things that I want to add. Your biggest expense is your payroll. I'm talking about how to turn your payroll into a profit center. I'm telling you that I've analyzed organizational behavior. There's one thing I'm badass at, Lou, organizational behavior, because what I know is half of your you know who the biggest arsonists are, Lou?
Tell me.
Firemen.
So translate that to dentistry.
Thank you. If you have half your team creating upsets, defiance, not following through, and then you got the other half of the team fixing their fires, then you're just going around in circles. You're going to have new systems, new expenses. You're going to get paid the same amount, even if you're going to start dropping PPOs. And I don't recommend that right out of the box. You got to get your legs under you. And you got to get better at case acceptance and retention before you make that move. And you can only get better at case acceptance and retention before that move is if you have there's only 2 types of team members. Please get this: willing and unwilling. People ask me to come in, and I don't start training people until I get this line in the sand and people lined up with the doctor rather than the doctor lined up with the team. I want to give you a visual here. Here's the biggest problem in dentistry, and it's bigger than any of the other dirty dozen I talked about, like corporate dentistry, emerging generations of baby boomers and millennials. This is the biggest problem, is the point of creation of a fertile ground to implement new systems on, which will affect your overhead, which won't have you stepping over dollars to get to cotton roll pennies. Stop that. What you want to do is if the practice owner, the spouse and the doctor and the team leader, let's say, are playing on a golf course, their field to play is a golf course. They're looking for a hole to get it in the middle, the least amount of shots. The team is playing football on a football field, no hole, they're blocking. And so doctors are trying to go through force, and I'm saying use power. Invite them onto your golf course and say, this is the field to play. I need you to play on this field. I'm not going to be playing on your field. And I just got off a call with a dentist yesterday. She was yelling at her team. She's like, you're not responding to me. She's in their face. And I got off the phone and I said, are you done carrying the rock up the mountain? Do you want to do it an easier way and just take a helicopter to the top? Stop doing what you're doing. Invite them to play. And if they don't, be detached whether they come along, because you're going to be fighting a battle June through December, and you're not going to be more profitable than you would be for the entire year, Lou.
Listen, Gary, I will always say, if you've got a great team, you're going to have a great practice. It's really the most essential component, no doubt.
Here's the last piece of it. People, before the pandemic has been a gift in so many ways, but most people can't see it. There was so many people not available, meaning low unemployment. Now it's 40%. They're not saying it, but there's 40%, and I'm gonna say that it's gonna be 25 to 30 throughout the third quarter, because not everybody's going to be able to afford it to bring everybody back. If the dentist is stuck on 25-year-old hygienists, and I love them, I give them a chance to come on board. I was just on the phone call with another doctor.
Right.
He's like, I can't grow my practice. I want you to help me put sleep in. And, I go, tell me about your hygienist. Well, they're 25 years, and they tell him to go get the free sleep over here. This is what his hygienist, and he's like, oh, okay. His hygienists are sending him to where they take their insurance and pay for the whole thing. And because he doesn't want to confront. Most of our dentists, when they first start with us, have zero confront levels, and that's the missing element.
Right.
And you got to step through it, and that's what the 5-step line in the sand process is, Lou. I designed this for non-confrontational, acquiescing, humanist, methodical dentists.
Gary Kadi, 4 great episodes. We're going to have you on at least 1 or 2 webinars. I can guarantee you that with Midway and Catapult. I think this is going to be a great opportunity for you and I to work together going forth. Thank you really so much. I know there's so much information and people listen to this and go, where do I learn more? I'm just going to say from Gary and I, stick with us. There's going to be a lot of next steps that we can bring to you that isn't voodoo. We can all do this together and be successful. Gary, thank you so much for four great episodes.
Thank you, Lou, and thanks to Midway for their generosity of allowing me to be here.
Thank you, pal.
You bet.
Stay safe, be smart. We'll talk soon. So let me be clear. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your questions. So what we want you to do is we want you to go to education@midwaydental.com. Shoot us your questions. We'll go right to the experts. I know I'm not the expert, so let's go ask the experts what we should be doing as our next step next week, the week after, and thereafter. I look forward to hearing from you.